So, hey everybody, Fletcher Stump here. Welcome back to Radioactive Inc. and to What You Need to Hear. And I've been thinking about this for a while. How could I bring this series back? Would it be worth it? Would I, have things to keep going on about? And lo and behold, this country always finds a way to give me ammo. PC. Yeah, this country just seems to find a way to give me ammo. Seems like every year I have something new to cover. And it just keeps on rolling into the next year. So, if you caught that disclaimer at the beginning of the video, yeah, that was your warning for things. Because I'm probably going to say a lot of stuff that offends a bunch of different people. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it's what needs to be said. It is what absolutely needs to be said. So, I guess let's go ahead and jump right in. So, everybody knows by now that neo-Nazis and these alt-right people are pretty much making themselves extremely public now. They're having these protests. One guy decided to drive all the way to Charlottesville just to ram his car into people. And unfortunately, somebody was killed. And a couple people were injured over this. Okay. Let's cover out a few things here. And I am going to address this to these neo-Nazi fucks who think that they are in the right state of mind for doing this. Okay, so let's see here. You're carrying around these Confederate flags with these swastika flags. Okay, number one, they have two different meanings behind them. So carrying them together doesn't work. Okay, number two, the Confederates lost the Civil War. So stop carrying the flag around like it, has more meaning than it just being a flag representing the Confederate States. Because it doesn't. That's it. They lost. Get over it. And number three, I don't know if you know this, but we already beat the Nazis. And we did it quite effectively too, forcing their leader to commit suicide because he didn't want to be captured. So, I'll tell you this, we killed Nazis once, and I think we should go ahead and do it again. There is absolutely zero reason for Nazism. And let me tell you fucking Nazi fuckbag assholes one more thing. Do you realize that most of you don't even qualify for Nazism? Because I don't know if you actually paid attention to history, but Nazism was all focused on, like, the Aryan race and their perfection. So if you're not blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and German, you don't qualify. Which means you're no good to them anyway. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell happened. Like, apparently you guys missed a fucking step and just skipped that part of the history textbook. Like, go back, go read the book, and then come back and go, oh, holy shit. Wow. Okay, let's try to start reforming my life, because holy hell. Do you get that? Do you get that? And, you know what really cracks me up about these guys is that they were carrying tiki torches, which is a Polynesian thing. And when asked about that, they're like, oh, we don't know how to make a torch. There's Google, motherfucker. Like, do you not know how to work Google, too? Are you just that inept? Did you skip over everything that you should have learned? Because apparently it seems like you were dumb enough to let your faces be seen, and so now your families are disowning you, your bosses are firing you, no one's ever going to hire you because they know what you're a part of now. Like, I don't know what you guys hope to accomplish other than fucking up your own goddamn lives. Like, fucking, even the Tiki Torch Company don't even want your asses around. Like, they said, stop using our shit for your dumbass parade. And then we have a president who is pretty much endorsing this in not so many words. If you don't step up and completely condemn these actions of these Nazi whatevers, then you are just as liable for the things they do. Okay, if you try to take a neutral stance between what is right and the oppressors, then congratulations, you have stood with the oppressors. Neutrality does not accomplish things like that. Not when there's only two sides of this. Neutrality accomplishes nothing. So if you decide to do nothing, then you stand with the oppressors, and you are pretty much saying, go right ahead, I'm not going to pay attention. And then had to make a statement because he was pressured to by everybody else. And there's conflict on many sides. There's two sides, Donald. There's two sides. There's us, who is right, and then there's the Nazis, that is wrong. Because I don't know at any point in this day and age, if you sit there and go, hey, do you think Nazis are cool? Yeah, man. No, if you ask a normal person, they're going to be like, hey, do you think Nazis are cool? Fuck no. Like, it completely boggles the mind how Oompa Loompa Express here, Oompa Loompa in his golden years, decides that, oh, well, let's take this kind of stance on it, and then just completely dodges it. Like he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Well, sorry to tell you, Donald, but unless you sit there and go, they need to stop, I do not condone this, you're just as bad. And let me actually say this to Mr. President. Okay, so Mr. President Donald Trump, if you do not get your ass in gear and do something about this, then I will be happy to use my right as an American citizen in this great democratic country to vote your ass out and put somebody in who will do the job. Because that's what we as the voters are able to do. If you are not doing your job, which your job is to administrate things, you are to preside over the country and make sure that the American people are having their needs and interests met. And we don't want these Nazis around. So, if you are not going to do something about that, I will be happy to vote you out and bring somebody new in. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the thing, people. We can vote him out. That's what impeaching is there for. If a president is not doing their job or they have some sort of self-interest, we are able to vote them out. And speaking of self-interest, I mean, the man didn't even give over his own company. If that does not speak for self-interest, I don't know what does. Look at his entire administration up to this point. The man is only working for self-interest. What benefits him, what benefits his company, because he doesn't plan to do this for another 4 years. I don't know if you guys are catching on to this, but after these 4 years, he's probably going to stop. Because at that point, everything is set in motion for him to benefit from it. He's rich. That's all that's going to happen. He's going to benefit from it. He's going to make more money. He's rich. Now, back to these Nazis. I'll save that for another video. Back to these Nazis. Okay, so they're standing there going, yeah, this counts as freedom of speech and everything. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't by a long shot. See, that's the funny thing about our Bill of Rights. People think that these 10 amendments, they have limitless power, and they can let us get away with all kinds of stuff. But here's the thing. No, they don't have limitless power. Sorry, even though it's not specified, each one of them has a limit. And carrying around Nazi flags, preaching your Nazi bullshit, doing your bullshit Nazi salutes and your goose-stepping doesn't count as speech. That's terrorism. sorry to tell you. You are terrorists on American soil. And, there's something I'm forgetting. Right! Our military kills terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Get where I'm coming from here? Yeah. Because, see, here's the funny thing. If the president isn't going to do something about it, Congress can sit there and go, yeah, we need to do something about this. And then they can vote for it. And as long as they meet the 2/3 majority, they can go right over Donald's fucking head and actually get something done. That's the great thing about this system, is that we don't need the president to say it's okay, as long as Congress is on the same page. Yeah, it doesn't count as your freedom of speech. Walking through the streets with these guns is not protected under the right to bear arms. You think the government's on your side, so the right to bear arms has no deal for you, because the right to bear arms is counted for the ability to have your guns in the event that you need to fight against an oppressive government. Well, you think the government's on your side, so clearly you're not being oppressed by any means. I mean, come on. You know you're not being oppressed if you're allowed to just get away with this crap, where cops have to sit there and guard you from everybody else. I mean, you're walking through the streets as an armed militia. That's a terror group. That is a terror group if I have ever seen one. But, you know, things will get done. I guarantee it. They'll get done. Now, with things like that, you know, the rest of the country, you ain't off the hook either. You are not off the hook either. Because, as I again have been watching, I have been seeing these Confederate monument statues. I have been seeing them ripped down. I have seen people sitting there, tearing them off and breaking them, and then people sitting there kicking them, spitting them, throwing things at them. Okay. Here's what you do with these statues, because, yes, they don't need to be on display anymore in, like, these towns and everything. What you do is you take them down, so they're still intact, and then you move them to a museum. And the reason you do this is because this way everybody can look back on this and go, yeah, holy shit, let's not do that again. That seems like it'd be a bad idea. Okay? Don't sit there and destroy these things because it offends you. Guess who else was offended and yet didn't bother to destroy everything? Instead, they put it in a museum. Germany! Germany has a Nazi museum because they want people to look back, learn, and go, yeah, let's not fucking do that again. That was disastrous. That was horrible. That was a dark part of history. But you know what? We can learn thanks to this, and we can become a better people. So, instead of destroying all these monuments, why don't you sit there and go, yeah, let's put it in a museum, and then we can go, yeah, that was a dark part of our history. But we can learn, and we can become a better people for it. Okay? Sitting there doing what you're doing, that's not making progress, that's going backwards. That is just going straight backwards. We're supposed to be better people. We're supposed to be stronger people. And yet you're going to sit there and destroy a piece of history. Whether it's good or bad, history is meant to be learned from, not destroyed. Learn from the mistakes of the past. Don't sit there and try to erase them as if it never happened. They are there to remind us of what has happened. So put them in a museum. So this way, future generations, okay, the next generation, and the generation after, and the generation after can all learn from that and go, I can't believe America was like that once. I'm so glad we aren't like that anymore. Because we know. History has taught us, these monuments have taught us not to be like that. And especially don't sit there and destroy them if they're in a cemetery. Okay, if these things are in a cemetery, then that is actually breaking a federal law, because thanks to an act of Congress, all Confederate soldiers from the Civil War were made veterans of the United States, So if you are destroying these grave monuments and everything like that, that's a federal offense. So you might want to stop that. You might want to sit there and like talk to your state representative and everything about getting them like the statues. You know, don't mess with the graves. Don't mess with the graves, because how you gonna feel if somebody, when after you die, comes up and just rips your fucking tombstone out of the ground and runs off with that shit? How you gonna feel? Your whole family be pissed off. So if there are monument statues, again, take them down, put them in a museum, not destroyed. It is not that difficult. If Germany can make a Nazi museum, I'm pretty sure we can make a Civil War museum, so we can learn from this shit. You get where I'm coming from? Are you understanding? Because sitting there and destroying these things and then kicking them and spitting on them, that doesn't show strength, that just shows weakness. Because you're easily offended by that, so you don't want it around anymore. I'm pretty sure Germany has you beat on the offensive scale. I'm pretty sure Germany has you way fucking beat on the I'm offended scale, and yet they learn. They learn, and they sit there and they try. You know, they don't want to do that again. They really don't. Nobody should ever want to do that again. That was a horrible, horrible, horrible fucking time in history. Nobody should ever want to do that again. And for us, the Civil War was a horrible, horrible, horrible time in our fucking American history. Because we were fighting ourselves over something that was wrong. And we should never have to do that again. Ever. I don't know. Maybe I think the way I do because, you know what? I've had to grow up in it all. At the age of 6, I had to live through 9/11. Which, I had to grow up quick learning about the world, because after that we went to war. Where men and women who were white, black, Asian, Hispanic, you know, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Guamanian, they all went to fight for us so that we can live in this country protected and safe, so that we could just do what we're doing now. That's not what these men and women fought and died for. What we're doing doesn't make us a stronger people. And the sad truth is, it doesn't unite us in the ways that you might think it will. Learn from the past. Don't sit there and destroy the relics of it. All that does is just messes everything up for the future. You know, I had to grow up in a recession. I was lucky enough to be around to see the first black president take office. And, you know, sure, some of the things he did weren't the greatest. Deck was stacked against him on a lot of things, and some mistakes were just his own. But he at least had the initiative, the common sense, the forthright to sit there and speak out against things like this. He condemned things like these Nazism fuckwads and destroying of these monuments. I'm pretty sure he would have condemned that. He would have probably had the same thinking I am. Put them in a museum to learn from them. And then get the fucking Nazis out of here. I guarantee he would have stood up and said that Nazis will not be appreciated in this country. And if you don't like the way that this country is, you can feel free to leave it, because we don't want you here. And then I was unlucky enough to be around to see Oompa Loompa in their golden years fucking take office, and within 7 months fuck up more than any one person ever could. I did not think it was possible to be able to fuck up this much. But somehow I'm always just proven wrong when it comes to life. Life just loves to sit there and prove me wrong. This country is sick. It is sick. It is diseased. And it's not getting better. And I don't know what we can do to change that. Because every time I think things are just going to get a little bit better, all they do is get worse. I don't know the steps to take to try and fix things. For that, I have no extra information. I have nothing more that I can tell you guys for that. You gotta figure it out on your own. Cannot look to others to fix the problem. Problem must be handled within. I don't know. I'm gonna end that here. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.